Alright, new car, we're fine. Pierce. Pierce. Why are the... You know what? No, it seems pretty canonically accurate that a cop would just randomly start shooting a black guy, I guess, you know?
I could get behind that.
It might be rough running a store along with your other duties.
Don't see why.
You really want to give it a shot?
I'm the voice of Planet Saints already. Why couldn't I be a fucking manager?
You know what? Speaking of that, I don't necessarily want to be political on like the second stream back, but I feel like this is kind of an opportune moment to at least like say something about it as I, you know, shoot this guy silly. So yesterday, there was a post done, I believe it was Luke Plunkett on Kotaku, where he was talking about Persona 5, in that the character Haru Okumura, you know, suddenly started talking in the new game Persona 5 Strikers, which is that new Dynasty Warriors kind of like game on Switch, and how she talks about how she despises cops, which, don't get me wrong, I don't really have a great trust with the police force to begin with either, so I kind of, you know, believe in that sentiment as well. However, the way the article was kind of written didn't really fly all that well, because the article basically, to summarize it, is... I'm gonna get shot by this sniper. Ow, Pierce. Basically, the article was written to say, Haru in the original Persona 5 is so uninspiring and is like very boring. But because she said, I hate... Oh god, the car's on fire. But because she said cops are bad in Persona 5 Strikers, she suddenly, this guy's like one of his favorites. To which I go, am I crazy in saying that that's pretty much virtue signaling through and through and that's it? Like, I get it, but... I mean, I don't even hate, like, the article itself. Oh, we're back to 5 stars again. Pierce, please get in the fucking car. Oh, God. Well, I'm gonna die again, potentially. I feel like I picked a really bad activity to try to have a serious political conversation here. So, as a whole, the idea is still sound... Like, I don't have a problem with Luke himself saying that, oh, because this person said this in this game, I suddenly like this character. Now, I don't actually have a problem with that. My problem with it is that you wrote about it on a place that people already target as the place where all this ridiculous bullshit gets written. And as I keep saying, the idea is you shouldn't want to give the people that you're trying to change the minds of any ammunitions to work with. And when you kind of just write an article that's literally just in a nutshell, this character boring, and then this character says a line about cops being bad, this character amazing, it basically just comes off like you guys don't actually care about the characters themselves, only the politics within them. And it gives all these people the ammunition, that's whether it's right-wingers, anti-SJWs, like all that stuff. It doesn't help our cause. It just gives them more ammunition to use against us. Because the reality is I hate this narrative to begin with, that Haru isn't even a boring character to begin with. The problem is Haru is an actually interesting character that just doesn't get enough time to flesh that character out.
He's not broken yet.
Because, I mean, Haru pretty much operates under similar things that, like, I guess I just destroyed that car, too. Haru pretty much is Makoto in a nutshell for anybody who knows what I'm talking about with Persona 5. The difference is that Makoto gets a little more time and gets to be on a fucking motorcycle as her persona. I guarantee you, if Haru doesn't look like a fucking weirdo with like this weird like British Renaissance fucking getup that she wears, if she was actually like wearing something pretty cool like Makoto with the motorcycle, I get the feeling that people would probably be a little more open to Haru, but because like she already looks like a comedic character and has no value really. Yeah, I guess I understand why people just think she's kind of boring, because there really isn't much to her. You know, visually, like it's just another, oh god, I'm gonna Pierce. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, what if I just get in this store? Can I hide in here? Can I just hide in here? No, they're gonna keep coming on this one. Maybe I'll be quiet in here for a minute. But Haru honestly is not a bad character. I don't understand why a lot of people really, really dump on her. I get that it's probably just comes to, oh no, they're not going to let me go. Well, I tried. I get the sentiment just because they probably look at every other character that they've spent a good number of time with, like a good amount of time with, and go, yeah, no, this character's kind of like meh in comparison. Well, no shit. She's the last character in the game that you get introduced to. You don't really have a chance to do anything with her. So, of course it's going to be like that. This is a really stupid idea. It might actually work, though. But I guarantee you, if Haru actually got, like, just a little bit more time to work with, I don't think the same sentiment happens. I think because of the time constraints and the fact that her outfit's kind of shitty, that she probably would have been taken more seriously had she gotten the same amount of time that someone like, say, Akechi does. Because Akechi becomes your party member at very close to the end of the game, but you've known Akechi through most of the entire game itself, so it's not like you're unfamiliar with him. Haru, you pretty much don't really know much about, other than you've seen her in passing. You don't really get introduced to her at all until she becomes a party member, in the same way that like everybody else gets introduced, like every other character that you get a party member of. They all operate under the same framework. The guy shows up, you know, during a crucial part of the story, and you know they do something. They might get on your bad side for a moment, and then they become like helpful to you. That's pretty much how it operates. This guy's pissing me off. If Haru was introduced like vocally in earlier in the game, I should say, if that actually happened, I don't think it's nearly as bad. But because she didn't really have an opportunity to kind of have a part in the story, it just kind of falls on deaf ears, and like people just don't really remember much about her. Pierce, get in the fucking car. I guarantee you, if you start the game off, or at least like by the time you're around, like, I don't know, let's say Makoto, you know, actually like hearing from her and her having a role in the story, I think everything's fine. It's just a matter of the writers just kind of putting her in the spot where there's really not much she could do. It's kind of similar to, I think it was Kanamagi in Persona 3. I don't think Persona 4 had this problem, because I think the last character you get was Naoto, and Naoto had been introduced in the story early on as well. So it really just comes down to the writers just kind of putting Haru in a bad spot. But if you really look at Haru the character, also Pierce, your driving is horrible. But like Haru as a character on her own is not actually that bad. It's just you don't get enough time to really get to love her. I think if there was just like maybe one extra mission, and I'm really distraught by that Persona 5 Royal didn't take the opportunity to address that as well. They really could have had an opportunity with that re-release to kind of make her better. And I think it would have made her better. But instead, you know, they concentrate on some other stuff, which, don't get me wrong, the new stuff that they put in Royal is fantastic. I would never suggest anyone play the original if they've never played Persona 5 before. Just get Royal. Even if it's going to cost you a little bit more, Royal is the perfect package for all that, so. But it just came down to that whole thing in the article that was on Kotaku that it was just like, yeah, no, Haru is not that good, but now that she says she hates cops, I really like her now. It really just is that case of like, dude, if that's all you're looking for in a character, you're just really showing these people that you're probably not the people we should be focusing on. You know, and Kotaku, for God's sakes, I'll say this probably a million times before it gets to their thick skulls sometimes. You guys know that you are the place that everybody goes to look if they're looking to get mad at something that the left is doing. And yet you go out of your way sometimes, it seems, to write some horrible articles that do nothing more than to piss people off. And I know that that's clickbait, but then you don't get to hide that you're trying to be like a morally just place or, you know, trying to take a political stance when it's pretty clear that you're just clickbait and trying to get money. So I would ask you politely, if you're going to be political, do one of two things. Either put some fucking nuance in your articles, or B, stop. Because you're not helping us at all. You're making people like me, who used to fucking hate you guys, who used to just despise the left as a whole, because I thought that everything Kotaku was doing was what the left was doing. Now you make people like me and others who are not trying to do this dumb clickbait bullshit. You make us look bad, and now we have a harder road getting people that are either in the middle or on the right to understand where we're coming from, because all they see is you taking a shot at everything and then turning everything to a clickbait article. It drives me fucking crazy. So. Also, side note about streaming, I don't get this. I can sit in this chair for 12 hours if I want to and game, and everything is fine. But when I sit in this chair and hit go live on Streamlabs and start streaming, whether it's through the podcast or whether it's here right now, my nose really starts to run. My throat starts to get pretty, like, scraggly, and I'm not even talking that much. I get sweaty. I don't know what it is about, maybe it's the headphone. Like, the magic of these headphones suddenly makes me, like, just go into full, overdrive mode. Like, everything starts going nuts. I don't understand it, because now my nose is running like a motherfucker already, and I'm not even an hour into the stream. It's like the second I hit go live, suddenly I have a cold all of a sudden, you know? It's really fucking irritating. No money. Nobody's doing any work for me. This is some bullshit. I still don't care about the notoriety thing. Oh, I can't even get the dual wield pistols either. Alright, so what else is on the map here that we can do? So, I can buy that. If I want to. I can also, so I can buy that property. There's the gang. You know what? Let's do the gang activity. But yeah, I know. Apologies if somebody came onto the stream and was like, oh god, he's getting political already. I probably will end up deviating into stuff like that every once in a while because I am a little bit passionate about that kind of stuff too, especially as somebody who used to be really in the pipeline, like, or down the rabbit hole, I should say, and I really, really don't like that I was. I'm really doing something stupid here. But yeah, no, I really lament the fact that I was in a really, really stupid place for a while. So recognizing that now, it really drives me crazy when the very things that got me into that state of mind are coming back and are still going on in some places. Just drives me nuts. And I'm just like, man, I wish I could do something to stop it. Because this kind of stuff, like what Luke wrote about Haru in Persona 5, just saying I hate cops. Like, you could really just as easily write an article about that and then actually, like, talk about the reasons why that's, like, a pretty big stance, because a lot of people just hear that and be like, oh, you hate the police. There's definitely some reasoning behind that. I'm probably gonna die again anyway. Apparently having all that health upgrade is still not mattering, but oh god, I'm still going. Okay, at least I finished the attack. That's all that matters. Get the cocaine, get the hell out of here. Or I guess I can crotch shot you, get in the car, and get the fuck out. Unless I die here. Oh, apparently I did not want to get in the car. I still don't want to get in the car. Okay, fine. We'll just go around the corner. But no, I fell into a trap like a few years ago. I'm kind of happy to be out of it now, and because I recognize all the things that got me into the trap, whenever I see them now it's no longer, oh my god, these friggin' leftists are going so crazy. Now I'm like, man, you guys are making it so hard for people that, you know, would have been like me 3 years ago and are now in that spot now. Like, you're the reason that these people are online on Reddit or Twitter or whatever, basically talking about how every time a female gets on a video game, suddenly, like, everything's all over the place. Like, the second a female lead, you know, gets casted, they're like, oh, they're taking spots away from guys. It's like, dude, it's just a character. But it's because of, like, places like Kotaku just basically having to rub it in everybody's faces and then constantly virtue signaling endlessly. It just makes us look bad. Because the reality is we all just want fun stuff, you know?